It was a cold autumn night in suburban Chicago, the kind where the wind whispers through the trees like secrets you don't want to hear. I was home alone, my wife out of town for work, and the clock had just struck 3 a.m. when the knock came slow, deliberate, echoing through the empty house like a heartbeat from the grave. Little did I know, answering that door would unleash a nightmare that still haunts my every waking moment. This is the true story of what happened next. My name is Ethan Harper. I'm 32, live in a quiet neighborhood just outside Chicago, and up until that night, I considered myself a pretty rational guy. No belief in ghosts, no jumping at shadows, just a regular software developer who liked his peace and quiet. It was late October, the leaves turning that deep blood-red color, and my wife Sarah had been away for 4 days on a business trip in Seattle. The house felt bigger without her too big. I'd stayed up late working on a project deadline, headphones on, lost in lines of code. By the time I finally shut my laptop, it was already past 2:30 a.m. I turned off all the lights downstairs, double-checked the doors like I always do, and headed up to bed. The house was silent except for the low hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of old wood settling. I brushed my teeth, climbed into bed, and scrolled on my phone for a few minutes to unwind. That's when the clock hit 3 a.m. exactly. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow, heavy knocks on the front door, not frantic. Not accidental, deliberate, like someone standing right outside, patient, waiting. I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard I felt it in my throat. Who the hell knocks on a stranger's door at 3 a.m. in the middle of autumn? No deliveries run that late. No neighbors would come by without texting first. And Sarah wasn't due back for another 2 days. I lay there in the dark, phone still in my hand, staring at the ceiling. Maybe I imagined it. Houses make noises, right? Then it came again. Knock, knock, knock. Same rhythm. Same volume. Same spot right on the front door. I sat up slowly, every muscle tense. The bedroom window faces the street, so I crept over and carefully pulled the curtain aside just an inch. The porch light was on motion activated, but there was no one standing there. No car in the driveway, no figure walking away down the sidewalk. Just empty darkness and the faint glow of the street lamp 2 houses down. I told myself it was kids pulling a prank. Or maybe a branch hitting the door in the wind. But there was no wind that night. The air was dead still. My phone buzzed in my hand, low battery warning. Great. Against every instinct screaming at me to stay upstairs and ignore it. I grabbed the baseball bat from under the bed. Sarah insisted we keep one after a break-in down the street last year and started walking downstairs. Each step felt louder than the last, like the house itself was listening. I reached the front door. The peephole was right there. All I had to do was look. I leaned in, I pressed to the glass. Nothing. The peephole showed only the empty porch, the motion light still glowing softly, the street beyond it quiet and dark. No one there. No footprints in the thin layer of fallen leaves. Nothing. I pulled back, breathing hard. The bat gripped so tight my knuckles ached. My mind raced. Maybe the knock came from the side door or the back. But no, it was definitely the front. I'd heard it clear as day. I stood there for a full minute, ear pressed against the door, listening. Silence. Then, just as I was about to turn away, knock, 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 again. Same 3 beats, but this time it sounded closer, like it was coming from inside the house. My blood turned to ice. I whipped around, staring into the dark living room behind me, the stairs, the hallway leading to the kitchen. Everything was pitch black, shadows pooling in the corners. I flipped on the foyer light, nothing out of place. The coat rack, the shoe bench, the framed photos on the wall, all exactly where they should be. I called out, voice shaking more than I wanted to admit. Who's there? No answer. Of course not. I forced myself to check the side door locked. Back door locked and deadbolted. Windows all closed. Alarm system armed. Sarah always sets it before trips. Everything secure. I went back to the front door, looked through the peephole again. Still empty. I told myself that was it. Prank over. Kids probably ran off laughing. I'd laugh about it tomorrow. I turned off the light, headed back upstairs, bat still in hand. Heart still pounding but slowing. I got into bed, pulled the covers up, tried to laugh it off, just my imagination running wild because I was alone. Then my phone buzzed on the nightstand. I picked it up. Unknown number, local area code. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity or stupidity won. Hello? Heavy breathing on the other end. Slow, deliberate, like someone standing very close to the microphone. Hello? I said again, louder. The breathing continued for 5 long seconds. Then a voice low, raspy, male. You shouldn't have looked through the peephole, Ethan. The line went dead. I stared at the screen. My name, he said my name. The phone slipped from my hand and hit the carpet with a dull thud. My name, he said my name. How did he know my name? I scrambled to pick it up, hands shaking so badly I could barely unlock the screen. Blocked number. No voicemail, nothing. I immediately called Sarah, straight to voicemail, probably asleep on West Coast time. I texted her, call me ASAP, something weird is happening. Then I dialed 911, thumb hovering over the call button. But what would I say? Someone knocked on my door and then called me by name. They'd think it was a prank, no break-in. No threat, just knocks and a creepy call. I didn't call. Big mistake. Instead, I turned on every light in the upstairs hallway and bedroom. The harsh glow made the house feel less like a tomb, but it didn't stop the crawling sensation on my skin like someone was still watching. I sat on the edge of the bed, bat across my lap, staring at the bedroom door. Every creak of the house sounded like footsteps now. Every shadow looked like it was moving. About 10 minutes passed, maybe 15. I was starting to think the call was just some sick joke, someone who knew me, trying to scare me. Then I heard it, a soft click from downstairs, like a door latch gently closing. My stomach dropped. I hadn't heard it open, only close. I crept to the top of the stairs, bat raised, and listened. Nothing for a long moment. Then slow, deliberate footsteps on the hardwood floor below. Not hurried, not trying to be quiet. Just walking. From the direction of the front door toward the kitchen, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Then stop. I couldn't breathe. Someone was inside the house? I backed into the bedroom, quietly closed the door, and twisted the lock, the little button lock that wouldn't stop anyone who really wanted in. I grabbed my phone again and this time hit call on 911. The operator answered on the second ring. 911, what's your emergency? I whispered as low as I could. Someone's in my house. I heard knocking, then a phone call, and now footsteps downstairs. Please send someone. I gave her my address. She stayed calm, told me to stay where I was, stay on the line, police were on the way. I crouched behind the bed, phone pressed to my ear, listening. The footsteps started again, slow, measured, coming toward the stairs. The footsteps reached the bottom of the stairs. Creak, first step, creak, second step. Each one slow, deliberate, like the person was savoring the sound, savoring my fear. The 911 operator was still on the line, whispering, "Stay calm, units are 2 minutes out. Do not engage." 2 minutes. It felt like 2 hours. I backed away from the bedroom door until my legs hit the bed. The bat felt useless now, heavy, ridiculous. I could hear him climbing higher. Creak, third step, creak, fourth. He was halfway up. My eyes darted around the room for anything better, a lamp. The bedside clocked nothing that could stop someone who'd already gotten inside without triggering the alarm. Then the footsteps stopped. Right outside my bedroom door. Dead silence. I held my breath. The operator whispered, "Are you still there?" I couldn't answer. I was afraid even the smallest sound would give him the signal to come in. Seconds dragged into eternity. Then soft scratching on the door, not nails exactly. More like fingertips slowly dragging down the wood, testing it. Scratch. 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 My skin crawled. Goosebumps exploded across my arms. The doorknob rattled once, gently. Like he was checking if it was locked. It was another rattle, a little harder this time. Then his voice low, calm, the same raspy whisper from the phone call. "Ethan, I know you're in there. I can hear you breathing." I clamped a hand over my mouth. My heart was thundering so loud I was sure he could hear it through the door. He waited. Then a soft laugh, almost amused. "I just want to talk." Silence again. I heard sirens in the distance, faint at first, then growing louder. Red and blue lights started flickering through the bedroom curtains as the police turned onto my street. The scratching stopped. Footsteps quick, now, rushing back down the stairs. I heard the front door open and slam shut. By the time the officers kicked in the door 30 seconds later, guns drawn, shouting, "Police!" the house was empty again. They searched every room, every closet, the basement, the attic. Nothing. No forced entry. No footprints. The alarm never went off. All doors and windows still locked from the inside. But on the kitchen counter right where I'd left my keys earlier was a single Polaroid photo. It showed me standing at the bedroom window, peeking through the curtain, taken from outside the house. On the white border beneath the image, written in red marker, "See you soon, Ethan." The police took the Polaroid as evidence. They dusted for prints, nothing. No fibers, no DNA, no footprints in the damp grass outside. The photo itself was blank on the back, no brand markings they could trace. They told me it was likely some sophisticated prank. Someone who knew my name, had my number, maybe even hacked the alarm system remotely. They increased patrols in the neighborhood and told me to change the locks, install cameras, and call if anything else happened. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. Sarah flew home early the day after. She held me while I told her everything, but even she looked shaken when she saw the photo. We stayed in a hotel for a week while new locks were installed, a full security system with cameras inside and out. I took time off work, tried therapy, told myself it was over. But it wasn't. The knocks never came again. The phone calls stopped. No shadows at the windows. Life slowly went back to normal. Until 3 months later. I was working late in the home office one night. Sarah already asleep upstairs when I decided to check the old security footage. Just routine, making sure everything was recording properly. I scrolled back through random dates. Nothing unusual. Then I opened the folder from that night. The original footage the police had already reviewed. I watched myself on the porch camera, peeking through the curtain, then disappearing upstairs. The front door camera, empty the whole time. No one approaching, no one leaving. But at exactly 3:02 a.m., the moment after the second set of knocks, there's a single frame glitch, one frame out of thousands. In that one frozen frame, a man stands on my porch, tall, pale, wearing a dark hoodie that hides his face in complete shadow. He's looking straight up into the camera, head tilted slightly like he knows it's there. The next frame, empty again. I zoomed in, enhanced it the best I could, no features visible. Just blackness where a face should be. I've watched that frame hundreds of times since. I still can't explain it. The police ran it through their software, said it looked like digital manipulation, but they couldn't prove how it was done. The camera company swore no one accessed the cloud storage. We moved 6 months later. New city, new state, new names on the utilities just to be safe. I still check the locks every night, twice. And sometimes, in the dead quiet of 3 a.m., I swear I hear it, not a knock, but the faintest whisper like breath against glass. "See you soon, Ethan?" I never found out who he was, or how he got in, or why he chose me. But I know one thing for certain. He's still out there. And one day, he'll come back to finish what he started.